Okay, so Aaron Rodgers is apparently throwing shots at Mike McCarthy. All right, his comments. I don't know what he was asked, but I'm pretty sure he was in an interview. But I'm a ballpark or I'm a paraphrase pretty much what was said. I believe he was asked about Mike McCarthy's hire, in Dallas, and his comments were along the lines of, "We had a lot of success there." I made a video some time ago when Mike McCarthy got fired. I think I even made a video before that, before he got fired. But I made a video around the time he got fired where I said once Aaron Rodgers got that contract, Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers was safe. Like, he wasn't going anywhere. So that meant Mike McCarthy was on the chopping block. Because if you didn't notice, over the past few years in Green Bay, the Packers have been less than stellar. They have been less than successful. And you saw the growing frustration in Aaron Rodgers. And apparently Aaron Rodgers, didn't have enough help. He didn't have enough effective supporting cast to get the job done. I mean, let's just forget about Devontae Adams, who's a borderline all-pro damn near every year. He's a top 10 wide receiver, no doubt. Let's just, forget about Aaron Jones. Let's forget about the defense. I mean, the defense has Pro Bowl caliber players on it. They weren't playing at a Pro Bowl level. So, all the same pieces. I mean, but apparently he didn't have any help last year. So this year, pretty much the same team, Now, I'm not saying Mike McCarthy didn't do anything to get himself fired. I mean, he got fired. I mean, he wasn't successful. It's been 10 years, close to 10 years, since they've made it to the Super Bowl. I mean, he hasn't really had much playoff success since then, if they do make the playoffs. And when Aaron Rodgers would get hurt, I mean, that team would look less than stellar. When Aaron Rodgers would get hurt, you would almost know that the Green Bay Packers were going to fall completely off. So, yeah, he was right in getting fired. But Aaron Rodgers, man, I don't know. He kind of has snakish behavior where he'll put on a face for the media, but his actions dictate differently. I believe he quit on the Green Bay Packers last year, and I think it was all to get Mike McCarthy fired. He wanted Mike McCarthy gone. I'm pretty sure he wanted him gone a few years ago. But he wanted Mike McCarthy gone. And I believe he quit on that team last year. It wasn't that they didn't have enough help. He just didn't want to play for the guy anymore. And now he's going and, getting in front of the reporters and he's, discussing Mike McCarthy, which I don't think that I think he should just stay away from that subject altogether. There's no benefit for him. There's only opportunities for people like me to criticize, because I don't really see Aaron Rodgers as a genuine person. I think that everything that he says could be... I'm trying to choose my words carefully here, but I believe anything that he says is sarcastic in a way where there's always a meaning behind what he's saying. What he says isn't what he means, but there's always a meaning behind what he's saying. And, I don't know. I just don't trust the guy. I mean, I throw him into that category with Ben Roethlisberger, where they're great quarterbacks, but they have extremely questionable character. And Aaron Rodgers is just one of those guys that I feel that from. But let's hear what they have to say.
All right, we had a lot of success in Dallas. And Jerry was infatuated by what we did. Do you think Rodgers is actually taking a shot at Mike McCarthy?
Where you get that from? I know it's just a question, but how we even get to the place of that's a question? No, I don't think he's taking a shot. First of all, he's watching our show, because I said those exact same things a couple of days ago about Mike McCarthy. I think that really had an impact on Jerry Jones watching a team that he assessed as less talented than his, then came to Dallas several times.
And if you're Aaron Rodgers, if you're going to comment on a situation, why don't you use Mike McCarthy singularly. Don't use him in a group. Don't use him, well, we, us, or anything like that. It's him. That's it. Just use that. And this is what makes me not trust anything this guy says, because there was nothing to gain from this. There's nothing to gain from this. And anytime that you make unnecessary comments where you have nothing to gain, that could be considered a shot. That could be considered you throwing extra barbs at somebody that you don't like or you don't respect or whatever. When you have nothing to gain from the situation, but you're still commenting on them, or you're still saying something about the situation. I mean, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, if anybody asks me about Mike McCarthy, no comment. Congratulations to him, but no comment. Like, because there's nothing for you to gain from commenting on it at all. Like, really. But I don't know, man. Maybe that's just me.
And beat his Dallas Cowboys, including winning the Super Bowl championship in Jerry's world. So I think Aaron Rodgers is just being a person who's stating the facts here. And as he's saying it as a matter of fact.
Even if Green Bay going into Dallas in recent memory and beating Dallas is mainly because he was the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, what do you gain besides self-notoriety? What do you gain besides, putting yourself out there? What do you gain? Like, there's nothing that you can get from it that he doesn't already have. Aaron Rodgers has fans. He has the respect of his peers. He has everything that he could want. He has his new contract. There's nothing to gain from this. So why? Like, that's what I'm wondering.
I don't see anything about this that shows that he's trying to be sly or take a shot. They had tremendous success. 8 straight postseason appearances, 5 division titles, 3 NFC championship appearances, and won a Super Bowl together, but they broke up. And you know this as being the king of the breakup. Ashing right then when it happened, there's nothing but bad to talk about. But let those emotions subside. Give it a little time. Something kept y'all together that long, and that's what he's trying to allude to.
If my ex went on and found...
What kept them together that long was Green Bay was successful. The ownership didn't want to shake anything up because Green Bay they were in their prime during that little run that they had. They were in their prime. And management, most likely, when your team is at its peak as far as talent-wise, you don't want to do anything to mess it up and then you have to start all over again. Sometimes you just want to let it ride out. And that's why they didn't let go of Mike McCarthy. But I'm pretty sure when Aaron Rodgers most likely went to the front office or whoever, talked to the GM and was like, listen, it's time to move on. Once he got that contract, it's time to move on. Probably before he got the contract. Aaron Rodgers has a lot of cachet in Green Bay. I'm pretty sure that he went to the front office sometime last year or the year before and said, it's time for us to move on. Otherwise, I would think that Mike McCarthy would still be in Green Bay, man, because I don't know, man. They struggled for years before they decided to let him go. If the front office wanted to let him go the year that Aaron Rodgers got hurt and they completely just stank, I would have thought about moving on from him at that point. Because then that situation proved that Aaron was more valuable to the team than Mike is. But I don't know, man. This is just me spitballing, to be honest.
A new man, and I wanted to compliment her. I'd be like, "Oh man, he got a hell of a catch there."
There you go. That's all you. Sorry, that's all you gotta say is, listen, congratulations to him. I hope it works out. But let's move on.
Say, oh, we had some good times together. We did some great things. I could see why he would look at what we did and think that guy's responsible.
And that's not the problem.
And that's Aaron Rodgers' ego. That's all that is. That's Aaron Rodgers' ego. I do believe it was a shot at Mike McCarthy because I believe he really doesn't... I'm not going to say he doesn't like Mike McCarthy. I'm going to say he has no respect for Mike McCarthy. It's not that he doesn't like him. I just don't think he has any respect for him. So I do believe that it was kind of like a shot at him. But it was more to build up his own ego. Because trust me, Aaron Rodgers has a fucking ego. Anybody that wears denim suit or denim dress clothes and fucking a mustache like that, has an ego. They don't give a fuck. All right.
Response always. That's why you're single still. One, but two, you know what? You got to talk about, like, you got to prop them up and also be realistic and state the facts. What I loved about it is he actually talked about what he knew, which is what we did was tremendous. Hopefully he can do it over there.
He has a tad bit of dry humor, sarcasm, and I think he was being sarcastic, but I do not think he was throwing shade. Honestly, we talked about...
Yeah, that's what I'm... All right. I think it was a shot, but I think it was a shot because he doesn't have respect for Mike McCarthy, and he's more flexing his muscles than anything. But do I think that do I think he doesn't like Mike McCarthy? No. That's what I mean by, like, what he just said where, he, I don't think he's throwing shade. That's what I'm talking about. I don't think that he doesn't like him. I don't think that's the case. I just think that he's flexing his muscles, and he's, he's talking up his ego, man, because Aaron Rodgers has a very big ego. Real shit. And I think that's all it is, man.
The whole nepotism deal and, relationships and all kinds of different ways things can happen. Same people you see going up or the same people you could see going down. Aaron Rodgers isn't a spring chicken, right? So why not say we? That's keeping your pieces in the right places on the board if you're playing chess, not checkers, right? So in reality, why not give that man his props?
Dap him up,
right? You may need a quarterback in, say, 2-3
and that's
years
why I can
of
say,
high caliber.
Oh, wow, Dallas got a great coach. Mike was tremendous. What a great decision by Dallas. When you start talking about we instead of Mike, we didn't get the job. Mike did.
Truth.
And that's what it's about. And this is why I said, like, if Aaron couldn't say Mike in singularity, he shouldn't have said anything at all, because there's really nothing for him to gain outside of him talking up his own self. There's really nothing for him to gain. I'm pretty sure there's a huge percent of people that believe the reason why Green Bay was as successful as they were was because of Aaron Rodgers. I'm one of those people. I do believe that Aaron was a huge reason why that team was successful. I mean, you can't deny that. But there's nothing for him to gain by even talking about it, to be honest.
But if he's taking ownership over Mike's success, which that's what it sounds like here, then they did it together.
That's pretty much what it is. Now, LeVar Arrington says some pretty interesting things right there. But then he's gonna kind of sidetrack that. Like, he's gonna kind of like back away from those comments. Like, he's not gonna try to take him away or anything. But he's just gonna like not touch on it any further. But that right there is probably the truest statement that anybody could have made right there. And the final statement that Whitlock makes. But that statement right there.
Because Mike could sit there and easily say, we are the reason why the Green Bay Packers are a high seed with a bye week going into the playoffs this year. I mean,
I got it.
Yeah, you're onto something there.
Yeah, he is. You got me thinking over here. I'm next.
Yeah, but the thing is Mike McCarthy's success is absolutely a function of not only environment in Green Bay, because in Green Bay, Mike had full autonomy over the team. Ted Thompson would bring in the guys, and he wouldn't at all give any input on who to play, when to play them, no matter how much you paid him in free agency, no matter how high they were drafted. And that was liberating for Mike. And then obviously they had some good players.
Oh, yeah.
I was one of them. Okay, guys? The bottom line is,
You're up here right
is
now.
that for Aaron to include himself in
he
the
was
we
just throwing
success.
shade at Coach.
That's what he did. We caught that.
Just throwing shade.
No, the reality is Mike's a good coach. But a lot of his success was a full-on collective effort of the organization, the players. And so for Aaron to include himself into that and say, yeah, we, is absolutely correct. And that's why I'm going to tell you right now, McCarthy's going to struggle in Dallas. Because he's never dealt with an owner that's always looking over his shoulder. He's never dealt with a situation where all of a sudden the owner pays a guy like Ezekiel Elliott. What are you paying? $50?
This is why I think I don't think Dallas is going to be successful. Whoever they bring in, because in order for Dallas to be successful, Jerry is going to have to take a back seat. He's going to have to stop doing what he's doing, but he won't. Until Jerry dies, he will still talk about this. He will still run his mouth in the media. He will still do a press conference after every fucking game, during every fucking practice. He will continuously be the face of the Cowboys. I mean, and that guy has a tremendous ego. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't have as big an ego as he does, but he reminds me so much of Jerry. He just does, man. Like the way he just carries himself. He seems like a very attention-oriented person. Like he just loves the attention.
Million guaranteed. What if all of a sudden McCarthy's like, hey
y'all
man,
never had an Ezekiel Elliott.
And y'all never even had free agents.
You got Amon Green.
Y'all never had
Amon Green.
Amon Green had that helmet.
Amon Green's pretty damn good.
You had Armand. He had him at the end. He didn't have him in the beginning.
But I'm just going to say, if all of a sudden he's not playing Ezekiel, I guarantee you Jerry's going to get on the phone and say, hey, Mike, what the heck you doing?
But Mike had to deal with a different dynamic in Green Bay where Ted said, look, I went out there shopping. You just got to cook this up.
No.
And that's different because Ted Thompson, y'all didn't even get free agents. You couldn't
We
even
got free agents.
big-time free agents.
Charles Woodson.
He didn't have any options at that time. Don't do that to Woodsy. I love my boy, but he didn't have options. It wasn't the same. Keep going.
Yeah,
They got Reggie White.
We were trying to get LeVar.
What year is it?
Yeah, mainly Green Bay built their team through the draft. Like that's mainly where they built their team through. Very few players that become prominent players on their team, besides a Charles Woodson or a Julius Peppers or somebody like that, they draft their players, which is rare, and it shows that they have great front office management.
I almost
tried. That's my point. Don't do that.
Didn't answer the question. Is he taking a little shot at McCarthy with his?
He's not taking a shot at him. He's just being honest and just saying, yeah. I mean, McCarthy's a good coach, like I am. McCarthy's a good coach, but there was more to it than just his coaching process.
That's a shot.
That's a shot, Brady. No.
You do know that's taking a shot.
Every single
He ain't taking a shot at his coach. He's taking a
What
shot.
he just said. Say what you just said again.
Well, hold on.
But what Brady and Aaron are failing to realize is that this is not a Brady, Aaron, Green Bay organization Mike McCarthy hire. This is a Mike McCarthy hire. Mike McCarthy by himself. When we talk about great players, like when we talk about great players going to different teams or anything like that, we don't sit there and lump everybody that is somewhat responsible for their success into that hire. Like when Odell Beckham Jr. was traded to the Cleveland Browns, we didn't say, oh man, Odell Beckham is going to the Cleveland Browns and he's taking the success of the Giants with him. He's taking Eli with him. He's taking the Giants organization. Everybody that's involved in this kid being where he is now, there is all going to, like, you can't really do that. You can't do that. What you're responsible for, and as the head coach, when you coach a successful organization, you're responsible for a lot. Like, there's a lot that goes into being a head coach. More than what goes into being the starting quarterback. This is why I don't like giving credit to Brady. This is why I don't like giving credit to Belichick, because it is so much that Brady is responsible for, and there's so much that Belichick is responsible for. And I believe without one or the other, there may not be any success. Like, as far as Super Bowls, man. If Aaron went to any other team, and see, people like to play this what if game. Well, what if Aaron goes to this team? He'll be like a 5-time Super Bowl champion. If Aaron went to any other team, there's a chance he wouldn't have been as successful as he was in Green Bay. Because whether he likes to admit it or not, they had some great talent around him. I mean, Green Bay's offensive line is always great. Like, they've always got Pro Bowlers. They're always drafting Pro Bowlers for some reason. So, I mean, this is why this should be separated, man. If you're Aaron Rodgers, you say, listen, Mike McCarthy was a great coach while he was here. Mike McCarthy, I believe, has the tools to be the great coach there. I wish him the best. That's it. That's all you have to say. That's it. That is it. No ego-driven dribble. Just say, I wish him the best. Bam. That's it. That's all he had to say. But see, Aaron loves this shit. Aaron loves people talking about him. Aaron loves people on TV bringing up his fucking name for some reason.
Every successful team you're telling me is a function of the head coach. Is that what you're saying?
Say what you just said again.
I said that our success with the Green Bay Packers just wasn't all because Mike was a heck of a coach.
That's a shot.
It's part of
That's a shot.
the equation.
Aaron didn't do that.
Taking a shot.
You did do it.
He just said
I'm
it
going to
by
tell you what
saying
Aaron did. I'm going to tell you what Aaron did. The reason why he said we you got to remember some of the other comments were, I thought Mike was going to take a role where he had GM responsibilities.
Thank you.
So here's the thing. The reason why he's saying is because he doesn't think that situation is good for his coach, who he thinks is a damn good coach. Damn good coach going to a bad situation. I'm going to say we did a great thing, because when that goes wrong in my projection, I don't want y'all to think I gave him support fully, because I knew that situation wasn't good for him. So that's a shot at
hold on.
Jerry.
You just said...
Sure.
And real quick, back to what Marcellus just said. This is why if you're Aaron Rodgers, you don't win by saying anything. There is nothing for you to gain by saying anything. There's a lot for you to get called out for. There's a lot.
He didn't support him fully. I don't want to say something that says I support that decision fully.
Because that's not outside of Aaron Rodgers' hands. He can't control that situation. Jerry undermining what Mike McCarthy can do. Great coach. But he may not be in the right situation, may not get the great results. I don't want that coming back on me.
But he didn't have to have enough of a quote for you to be able to extrapolate that much from it. He did not have to say that much. So if you were able to pull that from what he said,
I just combined two
then
quotes.
He's throwing shade.
That's not shade.
To me, I don't think
Mike McCarthy, did y'all understand what I just said?
I did.
He said, I love this dude.
Yes.
You ain't.
He ain't say that. He never said it. Aaron Rodgers don't give a shit about Mike McCarthy. He doesn't care. He does not care about him. I'm not saying he hates him. He just don't give a shit. He doesn't respect him. I know that. I know that for sure. He does not respect him. But I don't think it's something where he dislikes him or hates him or something like that. I don't think it's that. He doesn't care about Mike McCarthy. He doesn't love him. He doesn't hate him. He just doesn't give a shit about him.
Who you think you are, Cowboys? Guess what? This great thing is going to go to that
He
situation.
never said, I love this dude. He said, we had a lot of success down there.
Right. And he's saying
Which means if I'm interpreting it my way, what he's saying is, listen, Mike McCarthy is missing a very crucial piece to the success that he has accumulated over the course of his coaching career, which is me. He's missing me. That's what I get from that. Like, I was pivotal in Mike's success. That's what I get from that.
It's not a we thing. That thing is different. But I believe in him and
To me, the way I interpret it is, if there is no we, there is no success. And so, if it ain't me and Mike, what did you really see down in Dallas?
Well, why does that?
Real shit, and that's all it is. That's all it is. Aaron Rodgers is saying, listen, that dude was successful because I was his quarterback. That dude was successful, and he might have a point. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying you have nothing to gain from saying it. Everybody already believes you were the more important piece. So why are you saying anything? Like, there's nothing to gain from it.
Why is that shade, though? Why can't that just be, you may need my services at some point in time? I was thinking he may be a GM. What is a GM going to do?
Well, you say that.
Seek talent. Okay, well, if you end up being somewhere being a GM, and I need a job at some point in time.
I can tell you what, if Mike McCarthy had as much control over the organization in Green Bay as Brady Papinga said he did, I gotta tell you, I think he would make a phenomenal GM because his eye for talent is ridiculous. The amount of Pro Bowlers, the amount of borderline all-pro players that this dude was able to accrue is ridiculous. And I still think that this team is successful based on the residual effect of having Mike McCarthy there, putting these pieces together. So one could make the argument that Mike McCarthy is a huge reason why this team is successful this year. Because last year, for the past few years, wasn't it Green Bay didn't have a running game? Yeah, Aaron Jones looks like a fucking stud right now. So, I don't know, man. But all I know is I believe that Aaron Rodgers made those comments based out of pure ego and nothing else. I think that his lack of respect for Mike McCarthy is starting to show a little bit too much. But people love these players so much that they're willing to ignore simple shit like what he's saying here and constantly believe that these guys are great people and all this other stuff. But, it is what it is, man. I can't wait for the playoffs to continue Saturday. I can't wait to see what Green Bay does in their first playoff game without Mike McCarthy. All right, so that's it, man.